Hello students, this is the second part of the poem To a Skylark by P.B. Shelley, and here we will continue to discuss the remaining stanzas of the poem. The poet further compares the singing of the bird where the bird itself is invisible, but its presence is felt by the song sung by that bird, which is echoing in the atmosphere. And here he compares the bird with a rose which is covered in its own leaves, but the air, the wind is heavy with its fragrance. He says, like a rose embowered, like a rose which is embowered, which is covered, which is wrapped up in its own green leaves by warm winds deflowered. And that flower is deflowered, means it is stolen off its fragrance by warm winds till the scent it gives makes faint with too much sweet those heavy winged thieves. Here the wind has been said to be said to have heavy winged. So he says that the fragrance which is emitted by the flowers makes those heavy winged thieves, means it makes those warm winds heavy, unconscious with its too much sweetness. He further says, sound of vernal showers on the twinkling grass, rain awakened flowers, all that ever was, joyous and clear and fresh, thy music does surpass. He even goes to the extent that there is nothing in the nature that can equal the music, the melodious music of the bird. And he says that there is nothing which is as joyful and clear and freshness as the music of the skylark. Neither the vernal showers, means spring showers, spring rain which falls on the twinkling grass, which falls on the grass, rain awakened flowers, neither the flowers which are awakened by the rain, all that ever was, and all that is found in the nature does not compare, cannot compare the sweet melodious music of the skylark. Teach us, spirit or bird, what sweet thoughts are thine. I have never heard praise of love or wine that painted forth a flood of rapture so divine. He further says he wants to learn that what are the thoughts, what are the sources of this divine music that is flowing from the bird. He prays to the bird, he appeals to the bird, which, because he is not sure whether it is bird or some spirit, because the music which is flowing is of divine kind. So he says, teach us, whether you are spirit or bird, what sweet thoughts are thine, what are the thoughts which give rise to your divine music, because I have never heard praise of love or wine, because I have never heard whether they are the songs of love or wine that painted forth, that made flowing a flood of rapture so divine, which made a flow of rapture, a happiness, utter happiness, which is also divine. Whether it is chorus hymeneal or the songs of wedding or triumphal chant or the songs of victory, matched with thine would be all but an empty want. As compared to the song of the skylark, they all would look like an empty want, a meaningless, boastful thing, a thing wherein we feel there is some hidden want. There is some hidden want where it will give us the impression that something is lacking there. There is some deficiency which we cannot define, which cannot be defined. What objects are the fountains of thy happy strain? What fields or waves or mountains? What shapes of sky or plain? What love of thine own kind? What ignorance of pain? This stanza is in the form of question, where the poet puts forward several questions to the Skylark and wants to know the source of this sheer happiness, this pure happiness, this divine happiness, this divine joy that is flowing from the song of the Skylark. He asks, what are the things that are the fountains, means that are the source of this happy strain, this happy melody? What fields or waves or mountains? What shapes of sky or plain? What love of thine own kind? What love of a fellow creature? And what ignorance of pain? It seems like the Skylark would never have felt any kind of sorrow or pain. That is why, that is how such a sheer happiness is flowing from its song. With thy clear keen joyance, languor cannot be. Shadow of annoyance never came near thee. Thou lovest but never knew love's sad satiety. From the bird's song, it seems like that the Skylark would never have experienced any laziness or shadow of annoyance or irritation, would have never came near to it, close to it. Thou lovest, you only loved, but never knew love's sad satiety. And it seems like you loved, but you never felt that, you never experienced that disgust, that boredom that we often feel after some time, after excessive love. It is followed by some unexplained disgust. Waking or asleep, thou of death must deem things more true and deep than we mortals dream. Or how could thy notes flow in such a crystal stream? Here the poet tries to figure out himself that what would have been the reason behind such a crystal stream, such a sheer joyful song of the bird. And he comes to the conclusion that perhaps this bird understand the nature of death, or he understand some mysterious and deep things which we human beings cannot understand. That is why that would have been the reason of such a pure melodious song flowing from the bird. Waking or asleep, thou of death must deem. Deem means understand. Perhaps you understand the nature of death, things more true and deep. You understand true and mysterious things which we mortals only dream of. Or how could thy notes flow in such a crystal stream? Otherwise your song would not have such a crystal stream flow, such a crystal stream notes into it. Yet if we could scorn hate and pride and fear, if we were things born not to shed a tear, I know not how the joy we ever should come near. The poet is of the opinion that even if we could scorn the feeling of, even if we could keep ourselves away from the feeling of hatred, pride, and fearness, and even if we were born, if we were the things who were born not to shed a tear, even if we were the things who were not destined to experience the feelings of sadness, even then I know not how the joy we ever should come near, even then we could not have ever touched the sheer happiness that we our experience we can hear in your music. Better than all measures of delightful sound, better than all treasures that in books are found, thy skill to poet were, thou scorner of the ground. Here the poet says that better than all the standards of pleasant sound, melodious sound, and better than all the treasures, all the knowledge of music that is found in the books, is the skill of the Skylark, which is better in many ways. His skill to be poet, his skill to song is better than all the standards that are found in this word. And the poet ends with the line, thou scorner of the ground, as the bird is flying, it keeps flying high in the sky, where it can be seen no more, where it is no longer visible. Teach me half the gladness that thy brain must know, such harmonious madness from my lips would flow. The word should listen then as I am listening now. And he appeals to the bird to teach him half the gladness, half the happiness of the bird, which is the reason of such a sheer joyful song flowing from the bird, that thy brain must know, that the bird must have experienced such harmonious madness from my lips would flow, so that such similar melodious madness, such melodious ecstasy would flow from his own lips, so that the world would listen to him spellbound as he is listening now to the bird. So this is the explanation of the poem The Skylark. Thank you.